What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Don Harkins Real Estate Show. We have a lot to talk about this week. We're talking about all the chaos with mortgage rates, big feuds between some major players in the real estate space, a couple brokerages, and some portals, and even diving in a little bit into the property management side of things to show you a warning of what to look out for, some misinformation happening there. I'm Don Harkins, real estate broker and mortgage originator. I own two brokerages, a property management company, and we do this show to try and help home buyers and homeowners and sellers, along with lenders and real estate agents that might be new to the industry, kind of get a honest feel for what's actually happening, the different strings that are being pulled to try and separate you from your money and your home equity, bring awareness to some of the unsavvy business practices that are going on, both by agents in some cases and by corporations a lot of the time, and online companies. So I'm going to bring you right up to speed with what's happening in real estate first. So what you're looking at right here is essentially a migration chart. And these dark brown bubbles you can see here, this is an inventory change, pre-COVID to today, inventory change. If you look back 2019 through 2025. And so these, the bubble color and the bubble size is reflecting the degree of change. So you can see the darker bubbles have a larger degree of reduction in inventory, and the green bubbles have a larger inventory gain. So this is a classic reversal of the COVID migration patterns, right? So you had people fleeing the Northeast, it's all locked down. You had people fleeing California on the West Coast, all locked down, all moving into Texas and Florida, happening for the last 3-4 years. I mean, the amount of growth that we saw in Florida was, growth in population was insane. And then what happens? The world opens back up, and return to work happens, people getting called back to the offices. And also what happened in these markets, Florida, parts of North Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Arizona, what happened in these markets is they got more expensive, right? Population grew that fast. Housing inventory got really, really tight. Cost of living went up. So you've got kind of three factors here. You've got a rubber band effect of all the moving from COVID kind of unwinding, people going back home. You have return to work, return to office mandates occurring. And then all these areas, you had a lot of homes on the market that were very cheap, a lot for sale. So you have people returning there when the interest rate rises, seeking some affordability relief. So interesting visualization there, real-time data. If we want to drill down a little bit more and see what's happening in Central Florida, this is a 20-year chart. So it goes back all the way to 2016, and you can see, or I'm sorry, 2006. So if you look January 2006 through all of 2006, or most of 2006, we have 6 months of inventory sitting on the market. And then things started to get bad. Mortgage crisis started to happen. People got really fearful. And so you see inventory climb 10 months, 14 months, 17 months, 24 months, 31 months, peaked in January of 2008, 31 months of inventory. And then you start to see things start to recover. That inventory gets absorbed. Prices are coming down. You can see prices 135 average sale price in March of 2011. And just 2 years before that, instead of 135, you had in 2009, 163. So 10%, 20% change in price. And then you go back to 2008, average sale price is 267. So prices falling 50% in 3 years. Well, when prices fall 50% in 3 years, you can bet the inventory is going to shrink. And it really did, all the way down to 3 months. And then we kind of leveled off around 4 or 5 months in 2014. And all the way through 2017, 2016, you're hovering around 3 months of inventory for a long time. In the wintertime, you'd have, some spikes up to 4 months, but you're really hovering around that 4 months of inventory, roughly. And then COVID happens. We get down to 0.7 months of inventory, 1 month of inventory, 0.67 months of inventory. Things get super tight. You get a lot of pressure on prices. Prices start to rise. You go from December of 2018 with an average sale price at 276. 3 years later, average sale price 395. I mean, from 276 to 395, incredible price growth in just 4 years. And so where are we at today? Well, here we are, 2024, right? Let's go to January 2024. We got sale prices at 420 average. Got 4.7 months of inventory, 3.9 months of inventory, 3.5. I mean, this is pretty historically accurate to where we've kind of been hovering the last 20 years. You go from 420,000 in January 24 to December 24, average sale price 464. So, you could say, I mean, and that's pretty consistent too. We're actually at 450 at the end of 2023. So 450 to 460, 470, 480 in some of those months. So, you're looking at like a 4 to 5% price growth year over year that we're coming out of. And now January 25, February 25, 492, 486. I mean, still prices still growing pretty significantly, even in light of higher interest rates. And months of inventory, 7.7, 6.7. It's a little bit higher. It's also coming out of December, January, February. Those months had some higher rates, which we're down off those highs now. So something to watch, watch inventory over time. Expectations are we're going to see this number March, April, May. These were busy months, a lot of inventory absorption. So we'll probably get back down to that 5.4 range and probably hover there throughout most of 2025, unless we see big changes in the interest rates. But what's it mean at the end of the day? If you're an agent, look, this is a very normal market. Historically, look back to the last 20 years, like we're kind of at an equilibrium here, so don't expect big changes. If you're a seller, should you be selling right now? Well, if you're going to sell right now, there's kind of a balanced market, right? 6 months of inventory. So don't get crazy with your pricing. You've already seen good price movement. So don't price way ahead of the comps. You probably want to price at or just below the comps. If you're a buyer, recognize you have a little bit of negotiating leverage. Okay. There's more homes for sale. Look for the seller that's a little more motivated, a little bit more of a time crunch, and take advantage of that. If you're an investor, where's the opportunity? Just like any time, houses that have been on the market a while, houses that need work, right? When interest rates are high, buyers are trying to use their cash. Owner occupants are trying to use their cash to keep their payment affordable. They're not trying to spend their cash on doing big repairs. So look for stuff that needs a little bit of work. Look for stuff that's been on the market a little while. That's where you're going to win as an investor. If you're a tenant, first-time home buyer, look for median priced homes. We're talking, right here, 460 range that are newer to the market, that are move-in ready, meaning they don't need a roof, they don't need AC, they don't need electrical, they don't need plumbing. Don't look for stuff that has new kitchens, new floors, new paint. Just look for stuff that's move-in ready. Look for stuff that's new on the market and get in early. Get in with a full price offer. Keep your down payment low. Get some seller closing cost credit. Get your foot in the door and as you can see what's happened here over time, January 2020 prices 281. January 2025 prices 492. Don't worry about the price you're paying today if you're a first-time home buyer. Get into a home, establish some ownership, let time help you with the equity growth. Then you can start being a little bit choosier about the property you wind up in. So moving on, that's your market update. That's where we're at. Okay, we're slated for a pretty busy spring season. So April 13th through 19th, going to be the best time to be on the market as a seller. There's a lot of research around this. You can look it up. Realtor.com did a really nice blog on it, but that's where we're at. So what am I looking at here? Compass versus Zillow. This is like two immature siblings arguing with each other. Both of them are just in a very sad position. So here's what's going on with Zillow. Zillow spent a ton of money with offices and recruiting some expensive agents. And they went out, they spent all this money, they grew their agent count, and now they're stuck. They can't grow their agent count anymore. And so they're desperate. So what are they doing? Well, they're rolling out gimmicks like their last one was, we have a portal now where you can store documents and communicate with your customer, because that's innovative, even though Keller Williams rolled that out in 2017 and every single brokerage has a version of this. Well, their latest gimmick, and make no mistake, it's a gimmick, Compass Private Exclusives. Maximize demand for your most valuable asset. I'm going to just cut to the chase and be really quick with what this is. This is basically a website that Compass has, and you can list your house on this website, and only Compass agents or Compass buyers can see that your house is on that website before you put it on the main MLS. How this is a benefit to sellers is beyond me. I see no benefit whatsoever. Like here, you can list your house and show it to less people from one company. It's a horrible idea. You have no context for the offers you receive. Are they good? Are they not? Are there a higher paying buyer out there? Is there not? It's moronic. How is it a benefit to a buyer? Well, these are, other buyers don't have access to these. Great. You have exclusive access to a list of unmotivated sellers. Like these people aren't even serious enough about selling that they're willing to list their house on the open market. These are the least motivated sellers. And what's worse is they're being represented by agents who don't know what the hell they're doing, because if they did, they would have these houses listed on the open market, right? So this is just a disaster, and they're rolling it out like it's this incredible benefit. And then Zillow, being foolish like they are, is upset by it, because Zillow only makes money when you click this request a tour button, right? Other websites that have integrity, when you click this button, send a message, well, it puts you with the listing agent. So homes.com doesn't make money off this, right? They're connecting consumers with the person that listed the house for sale that knows about the house. But Zillow makes money because when you click this button, this is the same house. They don't connect you with Michelle Corbin. They connect you with a 23-year-old real estate agent that works on a mega team that sold 23 houses last month, and they were all $400,000, and they're going to charge 35% of the commission for putting you in touch with that person. This is their scheme. This is their gimmick that they run, right? So Zillow is upset about Compass exclusives because they want those houses on Zillow so they can make money by tricking people into clicking these buttons off of these listings. So what did they do? I'm going to play Zillow fanboy Sharon Srivasta's explanation of it for you guys.
It does not matter what kind of stance you have on clear cooperation, whether you think it's right, whether you think it's wrong, whether you think it needs to be repealed, or what have you. We are now in the battle of the business models. What did Compass do? Compass said, hey, we're going to create this private exclusive infrastructure. We're then going to use that as a recruiting vehicle to say, hey, we have access to inventory that you may not have access to. Use that as a recruiting vehicle, and then use that to eke out some revenue. 100% understand that. But now Zillow says, hey, listen, we are the 800-pound gorilla in the space, and we are going to show the transparency of how the listings come to market is really important, right? And I will tell you, the folks at Zillow are not dumb. Errol Samuelson is a savage, and this is exactly what I was waiting for. And the thing that I'm bummed out about is that NAR did not take the stance, and they had to wait for Zillow to come and take the stance.
Well, he's bummed out because he's a big Zillow fanboy. He pays Zillow a ton of money so that when Zillow manages to trick a consumer to clicking these buttons, instead of having them be routed to the listing agent, when Zillow manages to trick a consumer in his market into doing that, well, they send the lead to him. So he's bummed out Zillow isn't banning Compass from doing this because he wants more buyers tricked into contacting him and his agents, right? That's why he's bummed out. So, Compass is really pumping this. You can see all over Compass private exclusive that are coming soon, then all public websites. I mean, they are pumping the heck out of this. And EXP Realty, we can pull them up. They've got something to say about it as well. EXP is another big brokerage. They're entering the fight. What are they saying here? Let's see. Secrets don't sell homes. I mean, they're correct. Homes that are listed on the open market do sell for more. They're just trying to capitalize on Zillow's fight with Compass to recruit agents, because just like Compass, EXP is a wreck. Both of them came out of the gates fast, recruited a ton of agents, made promises they couldn't keep, and now they can't grow anymore. They can't get agents. So, like, they're both fighting for their lives over a smaller and smaller and smaller number of agents just to keep their stock price and their equity afloat a little bit longer. But EXP has chosen to side with Zillow. Part of the reason is EXP just basically recruits anybody with a pulse and a breath, and gives very little service. And in exchange for that, they give you most of the commission. And so that's attracted people to this business model to sign up and be these Zillow agents. So, like, they're very much lying in bed together. A lot of mega Zillow scammer agents are EXP agents as well. The reality is, guys, EXP is dying, Compass is dying, and Zillow are dying. And the people that are winning are agents like Michelle Corbin here, who list their properties on the open market for the correct price and focus on the business of doing what's right for their seller. The reason these companies are struggling is they're recruitment focused. They're more concerned with recruiting agents than they are with providing a high level of service to their customers and clients. And when you're more concerned with recruiting and agent count and stock prices and gimmicks like private exclusives or gimmicks like profit sharing that these companies are doing, when you're focused on that instead of being focused on what's best for the consumer, then you're going to fail. Zillow, same thing. Zillow is focused on how do we trick people into clicking this button? How do we trick people into clicking this button right here, get pre-qualified? How do we make money on this? How do we make money on this? How do we make money on this? I'm sure somewhere on here there's a home value landing page where they see how much your home is worth. Make money here, make money here, make money here, make money here, make money here. I mean, good night. Like, how do you even get information about a house? There's so many call to actions. And, these are your local experts. These guys don't even show houses. These guys are not experts. These are just people paying Zillow a ton of money. Same with this guy. And then advertisements on your website. Like, crap, we can't make enough money scamming people and tricking people into paying us for referral connections. So, like, let's sell ads. That's why they're losing. Compass is losing. EXP is losing. Zillow is losing. Agents that are focused on giving high quality service to their customers and agents and consumers who are using homes.com are winning right now. And so that's it. That's it with the real estate update. That's the big scandal this week. That's the big fight and feud going on. They're all going to devour themselves. Let's talk about what's happening in mortgages. Mortgages have been an insane ride this week. Tons of volatility. So April 3rd, rate 6.64%. April 4th, down 6.6%. April 7th, 6.82%. April 8th, 6.85%. April 9th, 6.95%. Let's see where we're at right now today. And, again, we're just looking at an index here, right? Like, I'm not pricing out a specific loan, but let's see where we're at on the index. 7.07 on the index. So you can see, if I look back here at just 1 month, you're like, oh my God, look how much the rates are up. If we look at 3 months, we're like, okay, rates are still down. Cool. If we look at 6 months, we're range bound. If we look at a year, we're still range bound. Rates are down. So look, we get this short-term volatility that occurs in rates. It's going to happen. FHA rates still 6.5%, 15-year rates 6.5%. These index rates, this is a large short-term upswing. Without getting into the details, China and Japan are dumping a bunch of U.S. mortgage-backed securities as they're flooding the market with a high volume of mortgage-backed securities. There's less demand, so in order to sell mortgage-backed securities based off the new loans being issued today, they have to have a higher rate of interest to attract a buyer, right? So people are saying maybe the Fed will step in and start buying mortgage-backed securities again, possibly. maybe the Fed's going to lower the 10-year treasury rate, help drive down, or the secured overnight funds rate to help drive down the 10-year treasury rate, help drive down mortgage, maybe. But the bottom line is, look, what we're looking at right here, $106. This is the movement. And that's not nothing. $106 is real money, but that's on a $500,000 mortgage. $500,000 mortgage, this is a difference of $106 a month. We see these short-term swings, and the interesting thing about these short-term swings, especially when they're caused by tariffs, as soon as the news breaks that there's a change in policy or a retraction, they're going to fall just as fast. So, this is where we're at right now with mortgages. You can see headline like this, mortgage rates are actually much higher this week. Look, yeah, I mean, the same $500,000 loan is going to cost you $100 more this week. Is it much higher? I don't know if it's much higher, but I mean, it's higher. And, it's just all about the range that you look. And, we've seen several times over the last several years that you have these intra week swings. And, ultimately the best thing to do is find a good deal on a house, get it secured, go ahead and put your application in, float your rate, and then be ready when there's a good opportunity intraday, intra-week to lock. Go ahead and lock in a rate. And if you find a rate, if rates drop a week later, you're working with a broker like me, give me a shout. There's a good chance we can float your rate down and pick up some of that gain. But this is where we're at right now with mortgages. We're sitting at the index at 6.97, a little bit of movement today, not a whole lot of move. Still in the last 3 months, we're still trending downwards overall, right? And a little bit of good news next week will send rates right back to where they have been. Last thing we have to bring you up to speed is, let's talk about property management for a minute. Everybody knows we have a property management company, CDOG Property Management. You've got this article out here, Property Management Software, Why More Americans Are Firing Their Property Managers. Self-management software solutions to the rescue. Turbo Tenant leads a new trend in the industry. The market for property management software was $22 billion in 2023, according to this study. Software providers before Turbo Tenant charged excessive amounts. Now with Turbo Tenant, independent property managers would pay $149 a year, $1,242 a month, access even more features. Not only is that far less than the average property manager paycheck, it's also less than a premium Netflix subscription. I mean, this is very popular. They're very enthusiastically written. So according to the IRS, 10.6 million Americans own rentals. Among those, plenty still turn to manual management processes like check rent payments, DIY rental applications, and paper leases waiting to get lost. Managing tenants is hard. Okay, so you have this managing tenants is hard. Turbo Tenant is the leading all-in-one software for everyday landlords. All right, so Turbo Tenant syndicates your listings, dozens of popular websites. Okay. Other high-power feature, they will help you schedule showings. They have a rental application. They have lease agreements with e-signature, online rent collection, accounting tools, and maintenance request management, and a rental property analyzer that helps landlords determine if their next investment will produce cash flow. Oh, man. I mean, like, the problems here are just, they're so numerous and so absurd. It's unbelievable, but I'm going to try and address them one by one. So first of all, you have syndication, right? They're going to blast your property out to a ton of places. If I'm selling a Ferrari for $500,000 and I get 1,000 people who contact me to want to see it, and they're all looking for Toyota Corollas, that's not going to help me sell my $500,000 Ferrari. I've just attracted 1,000 of the wrong type of person to my product. And that's exactly what happens when you market a property incorrectly. You either have the wrong kind of description, you have the wrong kind of pre-qualification items out there. You have the wrong price. You have the wrong timing. They're going to, they're telling you like, hey, you don't need a professional. Instead, just advertise it yourself to dozens of websites. That's dozens of websites sending you bad leads, creates nothing but a problem. And let me tell you from experience, when you start getting tenants contacting you and you don't want to show a house to them, you better be prepared to document you're not violating fair housing, that you're not discriminating based on a protected class. You better be prepared to deal with tenants that are Section 8 and accuse you of discriminating on Section 8, that accuse you of turning them down because they have a service animal, emotional support animal. The last thing you want as a landlord is a bunch of inquiries from the wrong type of tenant prospect. It's nothing but problems. It's going to land you in lawsuits. It's going to land you in huge problems. And ultimately, none of that's getting you closer to a lease, right? Rental applications. Great. So you have a rental application. Comes back, the tenant has $10,000 in cash. They got laid off 2 weeks ago, but they have an offer letter and their credit score is a 637. You have no context through which to evaluate that application. That could be a great tenant in some cases, or it could be a nightmare tenant in some cases. In order to evaluate a rental application, you have to have context to evaluate it through. You have to have looked at 100, 1,000, 10,000 credit reports. It doesn't matter what the score is. It matters more what the history is and why the score is the way that it is. It doesn't matter what their assets are. How did they get them? Are they raising or lowering over time? Are they stable? Are they unstable? Are they liquid? Are they not liquid? It doesn't matter that they had an employment gap. What's their employment history and what's their new employment going to look like? What about rental history? All these things that go into evaluating tenant applications. What if you had an eviction 3 years ago? Is that an automatic no? What if there's good cause for the eviction? What if there was a real problem with the place and the landlord was being predatory and taking advantage of them? Getting a rental application is useless if you don't have context to review and understand the application through. State-specific lease agreements with e-signature. First of all, getting e-signatures on leases is a nightmare. Like, how do you know that the person clicking the button isn't the 7-year-old child who's got mom or dad's phone and just clicked on a push notification? Like, you don't e-sign leases. You get leases signed in person with witnesses and driver's licenses. And by the way, state-specific leases, a professional property manager, what we do at my property management company, property and tenant-specific leases. Forget state-specific, forget county-specific, forget neighborhood-specific or house-specific. We're talking the lease is made by an attorney for that landlord and that tenant. State-specific leases are a nightmare. Miami's nothing like Tallahassee or Pensacola, right? Clearwater is nothing like Lake City. State-specific is worthless in a lease. If you're a landlord, you want a lease for that tenant and for that landlord for that point in time. Online rent collection seems great until you go to evict a tenant and the tenant keeps paying you rent. And so now your attorney goes, well, now you got to return that rent. We have to wait. We have to post another note. Boom, you get another rent payment, right? Like, online rent collection is not always a good thing. Automated rent collection can be a nightmare. By the way, the fees that come with this, you're going to be paying those as a landlord. You're going to be paying the fees. So just remember, professional property management companies have industry-specific and enterprise-level payment processing for reasonable fees. Accounting tools. I mean, I hope you're a CPA or you have a background in accounting, because good luck come tax time taking advantage of all the write-offs and having the correct chart of accounts and correct receipts for doing accounting. Good property management companies outsource this or use enterprise level professional software to ensure 100% accuracy with your accounting. Maintenance requests and management. I mean, look, I hope you have a plumber that's going to show up at 3 a.m. I hope you have an electrician that can show up on an hour's notice in emergency. I hope you have a house cleaner knows how to clean up biohazard, blood, other things. You know, all these various vendors. Better have a couple pool companies, better have a couple lawn care companies. You're going to go through them. To come here and say, look, professional property manager, that's a waste of money. Just get turbo tenant for $12.50 a month is ridiculous. And it was so ridiculous that I said, how could HousingWire, which, look, they're a pretty big website. Like, this is a pretty big website. They have, a staff. They put out a lot of information. I said, how could HousingWire be so stupid to mislead consumers like this? And then I went and looked this article just from a month ago. I was like, HW Media Content Studio. This is just like a normal article on their website. HW Media Content Studio. They help professional brands and businesses with authoritative content production and media distribution. We help clients elevate their products and services through compelling video, engaging podcasts, and impactful content marketing. Our expertise extends in conducting comprehensive research studies, providing clients with valuable insights and intel on the industry across all brands. So HousingWire was paid to create this garbage article. HousingWire, their ethics and level of, their moral compass and their ethics are so off and so low that they'll blatantly mislead landlords and steer them into disastrous situations with expensive financial and legal consequences just to make a buck. If turbo tenants willing to pay them few grand, no problem. They'll destroy financial wealth and home equity and create nightmare scenarios that landlords lose real wealth and sleep over for decades, as long as you'll pay them a couple bucks. So just beware of these BS, just take your money and spew nonsense websites like HousingWire when you're looking for sources for information when it comes to real estate. So, recapping, where's the market at? We got growing inventory, still pretty balanced inventory. We have pretty healthy price growth. We have interest rate volatility. Interest rates still hovering right around 7, range bound where they've been for 2 years. We have property management, talking about the complexities of that, keeping an eye on it. We've got Compass and EXP shrinking in size, fighting for a smaller number of agents while they're taking sides and battling with Zillow, who's trying to siphon money at every corner. Whereas Homes.com is the only person left doing the ethical thing here in real estate on the consumer-facing portal side. I hope what you take away from all of this is that real estate's a complicated landscape. There's a lot of people trying to make money on your home sale, trying to make money on your home purchase, willing to sell you out for a quick buck, willing to lie. Whether you're an agent, they'll lie to you to get you to join their company. If you're a lender, they'll lie to you to get your business as an agent. If they're an online news outlet, they'll lie to you to get clicks and readership and generate a little bit of ad revenue. So the takeaway from this week is ultimately find a trusted local realtor that studies the market and knows the market and doesn't have what we call commission breath, where they're so desperate for business and so broke that they're willing to do anything to earn your business. Find a local trusted broker who's established, who studies and knows the market, who is going to give you real honest advice about when's the best time to buy, when's the best time to sell, when should I invest, when should I liquidate, when should I refinance, when should I buy another rental, should I kick that tenant out, place a new tenant. You get one trusted realtor, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fantastic realtors in our market, a lot. Find a trusted realtor. Stay away from the online articles. Keep an eye on all these shady companies. And if you have any questions about real estate in the state of Florida, I'm happy to help you. At Don Harkins Realty, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Don Harkins on YouTube, Don Harkins on TikTok. You can find me on LinkedIn. I appreciate you watching this one a little bit long. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Take care.